Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Josh Alderson from Lenoir-Rhyne up in North Carolina. How are you, Coach?
Doing very well, thank you. Doing well yourself?
Doing well. Well, you guys, I think you started off on the right foot with that first game this past weekend, so congratulations. But
Thank
before
you.
we get into talking about the team and what's happening there, let's talk about kind of building the team, right? So, and we're lucky to have you because you were a player there and have been there as a coach for a number of years, so we get some really good inside scoop specifically with Lenoir-Rhyne. But when do you guys really start talking to players and really focusing on the recruiting? What year in high school are the players? When do you hear from players as well?
We hear from players from sophomore year onwards, really. We'll start really looking at actually recruiting them senior year predominantly.
Really? Okay.
A little bit junior year, we'll have some guys on our radar. Every now and again, we might make an offer to someone if we think it's an open offer, sort of no deadline, just there is a place for you here, sort of thing. But not until senior year will we really crank it up with the domestic recruits. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, interesting you say it, the domestic recruits. So I noticed you guys on the roster, you got a pretty good batch of internationals. And something tells me that accent of yours isn't from Hickory, North Carolina. Um, but how does international recruiting fit into your overall recruiting process, and how do you guys handle that?
It's a massive part of what we do. You're right in saying I'm originally from England, and so is our head coach, and then we have two other assistant coaches as well. One's from Spain and one's from Venezuela. So we have a very full-on international contingent when it comes to the coaching staff, which gives us a lot of contacts back home and across Europe as well. So we do a lot of recruitment through our contacts and through our links back home, agencies, clubs that we know and trust. And we bring in a lot of guys through that personal connection that we have for the international recruits. And it's always been a huge part of this program.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in terms of the domestic recruiting side of things, what are some of the tournaments and leagues that you guys kind of have as must see on your path of recruiting?
So I actually head up the domestic recruitment myself. And in terms of tournaments and leagues, the league situation, we're not too picky or too choosy when it comes to leagues. There are many different reasons why potential, recruits may or may not be playing in the supposed glamorous leagues. The financial situation being one of them, the availability to get to a team locally that's competing in one of the more prestigious leagues is also another reason why someone might not be doing that despite being capable, ability-wise. So leagues-wise, we don't pay too much attention, in all truth. But we try and go to a lot of showcases. We obviously go to the Castle, the NCFC one, because that's right up the road from us. And then some of the ECNL showcases that are in this region, we do try and get to, because we're always looking for, obviously, the highest quality player. But something that we're trying to do is we're trying to get out there into the local clubs in state and catch any games or tournaments they might be at, even if they're not specific showcases per se. For us, we've undergone a bit of a change in the last couple of years where we've tried to focus completely in state. And we've done a good job of that. And then that sort of, you come across Peace in South Carolina, recruits from Tennessee, the surrounding states as well. But we've had a big shift where we wanted to try and see if we could attract more of the talent from North Carolina. So we focused a little bit more specifically on that of late.
Okay. Well, and do you guys run any camps, or does the staff work camps? How do camps kind of fit into the whole process for you?
Yeah, camps are huge for us. So we go and work as many as we can. We'll go and work with other schools in this state. We'll go and work with any connections that we have that might be in the surrounding states again. But for camps, it's a good opportunity for us to go out and see some talent that might not have heard of Lenoir-Rhyne, but that might be interested once they get to work with us and see us in action and get to know us. But for us, it's probably our biggest tool is our own ID camps that we hold. That's probably the most important part of our recruitment process. We host 3 or 4 every year. and we don't invite any other schools, and we like to keep it around the number of 30 participants. We don't like going over that if we can help it. We're never going to turn someone away, of course we can't, but our idea once we get to 30 is that we stop promoting them quite as much, and we try and keep it at that number, and that way we can give everybody there the attention that they deserve for the fee they're paying to be there. It also keeps it to a number of recruits that either really want to come to Lenoir-Rhyne or that we're really interested in, or both. So it makes it the ideal sort of pool for us to pick from when we're looking for our recruits. But that's probably our biggest recruitment tool.
Okay. Now, whether it's camps or games or tournaments or whatever, what kind of for you guys, what is, you know, your hierarchy of things you're looking for in a player, whether it's on the field attributes, off the field attributes, what are the things that really say, okay, yep, this is somebody we want to be talking to?
Yeah, for us, so our program has a tagline that we've sort of made our own over the last few years, and that sort of drives everything that we do, and that's that great people make great bears. And so we're huge on the recruiting the person. It has to be the right character. We're going to find plenty of players that have a very solid, sound, technical and tactical foundation coming into college. We're going to find players that are going to physically be either ready to step into college or have the attributes that we can work on to step into college. So on them fronts, we're confident that we're going to find the right guys. But if we don't find the right person to come and fit in the group, then that recruit is not going to be of interest to us. We're looking for people that respond well in adversity. We're looking for people that react to mistakes with a sort of what's next mentality, as opposed to dwelling on the bad moment. What do you do to respond to get yourself back in credit? And we're looking for people that, you know, will put others before themselves. That kind of person is what we're looking for predominantly.
No, that's great. Well, the one question that I know is on a lot of parents' minds is the dollars and cents of going to college, right? So,
Absolutely.
and I'm not holding you any specific numbers here, but can you just kind of give me an overall big picture of what the financial aid situation looks like for most players, whether it's academic money, athletic money, grants, scholarships? What does it kind of all look like when specifically for Lenoir-Rhyne?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's one that we have to talk with parents about a lot. You know, Lenoir-Rhyne, I'll be brutally honest, we're not a cheap school. We're not, but nobody here is paying full whack. Everybody receives some sort of aid, whether that is athletic, whether that's academic, whether that's different grants, whether there's other scholarships available for them to apply for, different programs they can be part of whilst they're here that will supply scholarship. For us, about just under half of our roster is on some form of athletic scholarship. So this year we're at 40 on our roster. So about 19, I think roughly 18, 19 is on some sort of scholarship. We do have a lot of graduate students. So obviously the tuition and the situation for them is very different to the undergraduates. But we don't really look to bring anybody in on a complete full ride, because we believe you have to have a little bit of skin in the game. With us, we review it every year, you know, who deserves a little bit of a reward for what they've given us this year. And that's obviously, any coach that tells you different is lying, obviously based on athletic performance. But we add in, how good are they as a teammate? How punctual have they been? How's their academic progress been? And another large part for us is, how are they as they represent us in the community? You know, do they get involved with all of our community service engagements that we have? Do they represent us well outside of the campus environment? And that's a huge part of how you can earn yourself some scholarship money through us, through our program. But nobody here is paying the full amount. And about half of our squad receive some form of athletic scholarship from us, yeah. Oh, I've lost you.
No, that's me. Sorry.
There we go.
Let's talk a little bit more about the school. You know, I think there's probably a lot of people out there who maybe haven't heard of Lenoir-Rhyne, you know, up there in Hickory. So like I said, you've got some really great insight as an alum and coach for several years. So give me some interesting, some interesting facts, some awesome things about the school that maybe I'm not going to find just by clicking through the website.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I loved about here, and that we like to sell to our recruits, and the majority of recruits are interested in us because of this, is the faculty to student ratio is around 13 or 14 to 1. So you get that personal connection with all your faculty members, all your professors. It's superb. The connections I've seen, players and other students go on and get jobs purely through the connection they had with their professors in all different industries. So that's an amazing thing about our school. We're in a really good place right now with regards to community support and alumni support. So there've been a lot of renovations to campus recently, even despite the hardships that we've all gone through in the last few years. We've managed to ride that wave very successfully. The leadership of the school have done a great job, and we've just recently putting the finishing touches now to an American football stadium, $16-17 million project that's gone up in 8-9 months, and they're set to have their first home football game this weekend. I know they're really excited for that. There's other projects that are on the way. There's other recent ones that have been finished. We had a $3 million sports performance center completed a couple of years ago, and that I'm in one of the rooms right now, one of the analysis rooms. It also incorporates a weight room, a nutrition bar, and a pavilion sort of to host alumni and team events. So in terms of the facilities, this place just keeps growing and getting better and better. And in terms of the student athlete experience, it's like night and day from when I first came 10 years ago.
Yeah, I interviewed the coach of my alma mater, and I was very upset with how much they have that I didn't have back then. But hey, that was many moons ago. But anyway,
yeah, I'm only slightly jealous of the
yeah,
stuff these
yeah,
guys
right.
have now.
Well, obviously it is a student athlete experience, so we got to focus a little bit on the student part of things. So specifically there, how do your players kind of balance their studies and their commitment to the team, and what kind of support mechanisms does the school have in place to help them be successful both in the classroom and on the field?
Yeah, we've taken great pride in recent years. We've been consistently up and above the 3.2, 3.3 collective cumulative team GPA for the last few years, which is excellent. Now we're striving to get towards that 3.5, because, like you said, it's about coming here and getting a degree. We're not silly, we're not naive. We understand that Division II men's soccer, yes, it's a very high level, but the number of players that go on from here after they graduate and have a 10, 12, 15-year professional career is effectively zero. So they need to have a degree when they come out of here. This is all about them preparing for the next step of their life. If we can help them become a professional soccer player, we'll do everything we can. But what's most important is that we give them the tools to be able to go from here with a degree, graduating and being able to contribute to society and support their families in the best way possible. We're quite lucky with the relationships that we have across campus, like I mentioned, with the professors, because there's such that personal relationship. And myself and the head coach and Carlos, one of our assistants, we've been here so long, we have a great relationship with a lot of faculty members. If there's ever a need to miss class for a game, we're able to talk and communicate on the front end. Professors will work with our guys to make sure that any assignments that are due that day, or any exams or anything going on, there's communication as to how they can be completed in advance, so the guys are not risking losing marks for their grade because of competition. We have study hall, which is a fantastic tool for our incoming guys to get used to time management, make sure they're making that adjustment to college life. We have tutors for almost every subject. In fact, some of our guys even are tutors for anyone who needs them, which is fantastic as well. So the range of support that our guys receive is fantastic, and there really is no excuse to not succeed here, based on the fact that all you have to do is ask if there's any issues you have. So we have plenty of people here to help.
That's great. Well, you're in season now, so kind of walk me through what a typical week in the life of a player is going to be during the season in terms of, you know, when are they waking up, meals, practices, classes, games, what's kind of, I know there's no such thing as an average week, but do your best to give it a shot, right?
Yeah. There's always changes, but the sort of the standard, the template of a week as we would like it to be. Let's say we're home on Wednesday and away Saturday, so you get a taste of both. Monday will be classes from 8 to about 3 o'clock. They can have as many or as few as they get scheduled in that time, but they'll be getting up hopefully before that, having a good breakfast off the classes. This year we've managed to find a time to get a weight room session in with our boys at 10 a.m. On a Monday. Campus has a 10 o'clock break almost every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which centers around chapel on Wednesday. But Monday and Friday follow the same schedule. So there's a 10 a.m. break that we can get all of our boys into the weight room as a whole squad. We will train at 3:30 on a Monday afternoon. Typically our heaviest session of the week, where we can get the bulk of work done as to tweaks we want to make, changes we want to implement, things we want to continue to work on. We'll be done at that point by about 5:15, 5:30. They'll be into the caf to get some food, some dinner, and study hall hours in the evening for anyone that is enrolled in study hall that year, which is our incoming freshmen and any incoming transfers that we have. Tuesday, again, classes 8 through 3, dependent on your schedule. We'll train again at 3:30. There'll be a lighter session, preparation. We'll just go over some set piece work, some practical, low intensity stuff in preparation for the game on Wednesday. On Tuesday, we'll also try and do a little analysis session afterwards. We keep it short and sharp. We'll send the boys a whole playlist of clips prior to the analysis session, and then handpick 10, 15 clips that we want to show them specifically, highlighting some positives and some things we need to improve. Tuesday evening is them to themselves against study hall for those that need to complete it. On Wednesday, if we have a game, typically we play after the women's team. So they'll play at 5, we'll play at 7:30. For a 7:30 kickoff, our day as a collective doesn't start until 4 o'clock. So again, classes before then, we encourage them to get a good meal at lunch. At 4 o'clock, we will meet and have our pre-game meal, and also go through our scout for the boys for the game coming up that night. That usually takes about an hour. So from 5 o'clock onwards, they have about an hour and a half to themselves to be ready in the locker room, changed at 6:30. They'll walk out to the field. We'll start our warm-up as soon as the girls' game is finished. Kick off at 7:30, hopefully get the win. And then we have a fantastic group of parents that support us, and they'll provide a post-game meal for all home games. So after the game, win, lose, or draw, we'll head into the lobby in the main athletics building in Shuford and enjoy some time with some of the parents, any local alumni, that kind of thing, eat some food and sort of decompress from the evening's game. Thursday will be a recovery day for those that played a lot of minutes on the Wednesday. So during the day, again, classes at 3:30, a recovery session for the boys that'll involve stretching, and we get them in the weight room with our strength conditioning coach, and he'll take them through a recovery session. And then we will go through a heavy session, high intensity, with the guys that didn't play on the Wednesday night. So that'll be small-sided, but it'll be intense and getting some of the distance in their legs they didn't get on the Wednesday. On the Friday, we'll wake up and we'll train at 7 a.m. We like to do that to give them the most time to recover from that session prior to the game on Saturday. Sort of give them that extra recovery on a Friday. So we train at 7 a.m., very similar to the Tuesday session, set pieces, tactical tweaks as needed, that kind of thing. Classes after that session, we'll get together in the evening about 5 o'clock and go through some clips from the Wednesday game. Saturday, if we're away from home, we like to try and arrive at the away game 2 hours prior to kickoff. So if we're playing at 7, we'll try and get there at 5. And the sort of timetable before that will depend on how far the drive is. In one of our longer ones, let's say we're going to one of the Tennessee trips, it's 4.5 hours. If we're aiming to get there at 5, we'll probably leave around 12, stop off halfway, do a little jog and stretch and eat some food, and then get back on the bus and get there. Sunday is off. The boys usually get themselves into the ice baths, and if any of them need to see the athletic trainer, they will, but that's our mandated day off on a Sunday, and then it all starts again.
All right, awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the team and the soccer side of things. So, and you may have mentioned this before, but is there a roster size that you guys are trying to kind of hit your sweet spot every year?
Yeah, so we added a reserve team a couple of years ago now, and since then we've had a number that we need to hit, and that increases each year. At the moment, this year we're at 40 as a complete program, which is quite a good number. Last year we were at 36, which left us a touch thin when it came to the reserve team games. So 40, I think, is going to be good for us. We've managed to bring in a team manager and a few extra keepers, so we've got a good mix, a good blend.
So what does that reserve schedule look like? Is it similar to the main team schedule? How many matches are they getting in a year? That kind of thing.
Very similar in terms of practice. There'll be a staggered start time on Tuesdays. The Monday afternoon, typically we'll get them off as they're freshmen, so they get the chance to do the study hall and stuff like that. They'll have had a lift in the morning, so they might not train on a Monday afternoon. But Thursday and Friday is a whole squad session. In terms of games, for home first team games, everybody dresses, the whole group, so all 40. For away first team games, we'll have a travel squad of 22, 23. And then the JV, the reserve team schedule, we have 7 or 8 games. Last year we were at 7, this year we're at 8. Mixture of home and away. Traditionally, it's other Division 2 teams from the region. We've also had a couple of academy teams that we've played against, which are specifically based around bringing in people that don't sign anywhere as a freshman. So they spend their freshman year doing some sort of course credits to different places, and we'll play against them as well. It's a chance for us to see if we've missed anybody and get some good competition. So we're still in the early stages of the process with the reserve team, but we're very pleased with the direction in which it's going.
Okay. Well, you had mentioned the staff earlier. It sounds like you got a nice solid staff, very diverse, but a good number as well. So you mentioned you head up domestic recruiting. What roles does everybody play within that staff?
Yeah, so our head coach and another assistant coach of ours, Carlos. So head coach Jack Winter and assistant coach Carlos Rubio do the majority of the international recruitment. We added another assistant coach, Diego Tilan. Last year was his first year. He's come in and he's taken over a whole manner of different roles that have allowed all of us to spend more time on specific roles that perhaps we did well, but with a bit more ability to dedicate more time, we can do a bit better. So having all 4 of us is fantastic. We're all heavily involved with scouting opponents. We're all heavily involved with breaking down film of our own games. We're all heavily involved with the training sessions. We sort of have different components of the sessions that we'll each lead, and it gives the boys different voices. It keeps it fresh and engaging. Obviously, our head coach pretty much oversees everything, and we all sort of report into him with our situation on each different, whether it's domestic recruitment, international recruitment, community service, whether it's academic progress of our guys, whatever it might be, we sort of all bring that to him for the final approval on things. But he's very, very good at trusting us and allowing us to sort of get to work and trusting that we're going to do a good job with whatever role we've been given.
That's awesome. Well, how would you kind of describe the team style of play and the culture of the team and how you guys are coaching them up and getting them out there on the field?
Yeah, this is a great question that a lot of recruits love to ask. And sort of for us, we're currently playing in a 3-5-2 formation. But that's not really, there's no reason for that other than the guys we've got, it suits what they can do. When we want to discuss how we play and sort of our style and what we're looking for, of course we want the ball, but our overall objective is to just score more goals than the opposition. That's it. It's simple, really. If we have to play a 4-3-3, if we have to play a 3-5-2, if we have to play a 4-5-1, whatever it might be, we're not too concerned by the way it looks on a piece of paper. What we want from our guys, what we want in terms of a style of play and an identity, is a set of behaviors that are very easily identifiable from our group. So we want the intensity, a relentless level of intensity that is superior to anyone we face. We want to see a team that embodies a positive mindset. So we do a lot of work on sports psychology, and for us, being able to manage the moments up here, as opposed to allowing the emotions to get the better of you, is something that we want our team to be able to show that we can do. We're looking for a what's next mentality, which is when something happens, what's next? Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, something that's just happened, what's next? Because the next moment is going to be the most important. And then we're looking for character to shine through in the way we play. So are we organized? Do we work hard? Are we a collective unit? All them kind of things. We call them our sort of Bears core behaviors. And sort of, if we could describe in the best way our style of play and how we hope people see us, it's that they would mention them things as opposed to any set formation or anything like that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, talked about a lot of different things, but so I always like to end these with the last question of what didn't we cover? What else do you want to let us know, whether it's about the team, the school, the recruiting process, or anything else? Now's the chance.
Yeah, great question. I mean, we're very fortunate that we're in an incredibly strong region, incredibly strong conference. I think I've been a part of it for 10 years now, and it's as strong as it's ever been. And with the induction of the super region in the last couple of years, we now have the Sunshine State in our sort of super region as well. So, and we actually head out to Florida this week, so it's going to be a good trip. But we have the most competitive schedule possible. That's one of the reasons that we were able to make it into the NCAA tournament last year, because our strength of schedule is so high. But that's something that I would say to any recruits that are looking at trying to go to the next level. I mean, take into account the schedules and sort of the regions and the conferences of the teams you're looking at, because some people might look at it and say, oh, I don't really want to have competitive games every week. I'd like to go somewhere where we're guaranteed to win 4-5-0 3 or 4 times a year. But for us, that's not what we're looking for. That's not what we're about. We want to play the best as often as possible. We want to test ourselves as often as possible, and we're looking for people that want to come here and join that sort of ride where you have to be at the top of your game in every single match you play. It's one of the most rewarding things when you look back at a season and you can see the teams you've played against and the schedule that you've had, and say, yeah, we did a good job this year. So I would say just that's something I wanted to touch upon, is the strength of schedule we have and the conference that we're in. It's a fantastic opportunity for anyone to get involved in some really high level soccer.
That's great. And unfortunately, you're going to be on the other side of Florida than where I am. So otherwise, I'd come check you out this weekend. But we wish you the best of luck in those games. And if you get to the Bradenton side here near IMG or Premier, like, give me a shout. We'll meet in person. But thanks for the time, and good luck with the rest of the season. Hopefully, you'll get back to that NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and all the best.
Thanks.